Hello everyone, Basic Ollie here, hope you're all doing well and welcome back to another GT Sport video. So today then we are round 2 of the Nations Cup, probably the last one before Gran Turismo 7 comes out, I hope, I think anyways, we shall see. So, the choices of cars today, you either have the Subaru Impreza WRX STI or you have the Mitsubishi Evolution 10. Now, I am a Subaru man at heart, always have been, always will be. Now, I did use Evo in the last manufacturer series, but this is a Nations Cup. It's a little bit different. We can choose whichever car we like out of the two. So we see we have 272 points on offer today if we do finish in P1. Now, my objective here, because I really like the Subaru, it means something to me, the car, it really does. It's always been my dream car. I had one a few years ago and unfortunately I had to sell it. It was just, yeah, but we won't talk about that. Just a little backstory there. So anyways, this is just jumping straight into qualifying. You can see I've got on the back of this person here. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what flag that quite is or what country it is. So on the back of P2, but no one's crossed the line yet. So I don't know if he's actually P2 technically. We'll have to see where he finishes as we cross the line. So we're at Maggiore once more, a slightly shorter version in these Group 4 cars, but I don't mind it. It's pretty fast. It's pretty fast flowing. And it has got the big banky boy, so it does make for some really good racing around here, to be fair. And you can see I've got the slipstream massively, and I had to make a decision before this big right-hander here whether to overtake him or not, and I decided against it, because in qualifying, one of the worst things in the world is when you're qualifying, you're trying to do your best, and then someone comes flying up behind you, overtakes you, and kind of ruins your lap. I know I've got very close, and it is technically slowing me down a little bit here, but again, you can see I just decided to back off. It's just not worth it, because if this doesn't work, I can always go again for lap 2, because the tyre wear's not too bad, and I've made up a lot of time by being the guy's slipstream during this qualifying lap. So we'll see what kind of time we do as we cross the line. So we've only got one corner left to go now. The swooping left-hander, making sure we hit the curb on the left-hand side, and being careful of not drifting out wide there, because touching the grass can ruin your entry to the finish line. So we're going to cross the line here, and we're going to set ourselves a 128.2. Now, the guy does back out, and he just slams into me, and I slam into someone else, but we don't get a penalty. It doesn't really matter too much anyways, because it's qualifying. So I do decide to go out again, because I thought to myself, well, even without the slipstream, I might be able to improve. But as you can see, it made such a big difference. I was 4 attempts down in the middle sector. So across the line, backed off completely, 10 seconds down. And as we cross the line, you can see we're in P3 currently, and then by the time the qualifying ends, which is about 5 seconds or so, that is exactly where we are going to stay. So P3 in the Nations Cup. I think this is probably Tier 3. I don't think this is quite Tier 2. So this is a pretty high-end lobby, there's no doubt about it. It's probably where I am. I'm probably like top end of Tier 3, bottom end of Tier 2, you know, top split kind of thing. So I'm quite content with that. If I'd much rather be fighting for podiums rather than just being in, you know, second split and fighting the back. This is much better. So traction control setting to 1, waiting for the 5 red lights. So it's just being very patient, put the foot on the throttle here and wait for it to go, and there it goes. Now the launch is pretty good. I took the traction control off straight away because it's quite clear it's not needed. Brake balance to the rear by 3. Now you can see the chap on the right hand side just brakes a little bit early, make sure he doesn't go to the back of the guy at P1. PX7. I do got the inside, but then the next corner is a tight right-hander. He just kind of pushes me off there, pushes me wide, and I don't just lose one position, I end up losing 2. So I drop down to P4 now, but it's fair play. The Frenchman had the inside of the corner. There wasn't much else I could do, and the other Frenchman here managed to take the inside, and yeah, eventually dropped me down to P4. So I've been absolutely mugged here by 2 Frenchmen, but again, that's probably down to racecraft. I should have just maybe been a little bit cautious in the first corner, so I didn't get overtaken in the second. We get a slipstream here. I'm just going to brake after the cones here. Again, going into big banky boy. Just seeing what happens here. You see that guy just hops. That's what happens when you have the cones on, you see. When you have the cones on and someone touches them, people just fly in the air. Now, immediately I realised that the brake bias has to go to the rear as much as it can. These Subarus are four-wheel drive, and in Gran Turismo Sport, the tyre wear is very ferocious in four-wheel drive cars. So we need to look after those front tyres as much as we possibly can. Trying to look for a move on the inside through that right-hander on the Frenchman there, but couldn't quite pull it off. But we'll take our time. We've got 15 laps here, folks. 15 laps in this race. And I have to say, it was actually a really, really good race. So fingers crossed you're going to really enjoy this. So again, going through the swooping left-hander with a little bit of camber, not too much. And we go through, we get a nice smooth exit. We can go to the left-hand side here, potentially go for a move up the inside. but the Frenchman is getting a slipstream off the other Frenchman, and that caused me to just drop off, and it's just not enough. So I'm going to just try and outbrake him here. I just kept an eye on when he braked, and I'm just going to go up the inside, but once again, I haven't learnt my lesson. I'm around the outside here, and the Frenchman keeps that P3, but it's not too disastrous because I've kept my position, and now we've got the long straight here. Now I really do love this course, I have to say. Recently, since it was in the FIA finals the other week, and it was a daily race last week as well, I just kind of fall in love with this track. I think it's just really good racing, to be honest with you. You have to let me know in the comments as well, guys, if you really like this track as well. But I honestly do not mind this track coming up, even if it's a different variation, even in reverse. I quite enjoy it. So again, just letting the guy know I'm here. So I'm looking for a move up the inside again, just making sure he knows that I'm there, and I'm looking for an opportunity. If it is given to me, I will take it with both hands. But we can see the Spaniard behind me here, and you're going to have to watch out for the Spaniard in this video. He's very, very quick. I think he let himself down in the qualifying procedure, so keep an eye out for him for the rest of this video. Now we're going to look for a move up the inside. The door is open and he goes slightly wide, so I kind of try and fit my Subaru up the inside here, and then I've got enough room for the next right-hander, and that now promotes me up to P3, which is really, really good. I'd love to get a podium here. That would be an excellent result, I think. Starting in P3, you know, we could try and look forward, but you know, there's what, 16 other people behind us, so we've got to be cautious on that as well. So we're going to cross the line here in P3 on the end of lap 2, but you can see the Frenchman here. Just look at the launch. He can easily go for a move there if he wants to, but he backs out of it, so I'm very, very glad of that. You know, this is a long race. Tyre wear is high. We need to be cautious on the tyres. We can't constantly keep fighting, otherwise we're just going to fall back. And we need to work as a team. Just like in my previous video at Monza, this race, with these cars, the slipstream is vital, so we need to work as a team if we're going to catch up with the Frenchman in P2, and potentially the guy in P1, PX7. But he is looking rapid. He is looking very, very quick. So we're back on the straight once more. You can see the Frenchman behind me is going to pull out here. He's going to look for a move down the inside. We're going to be fighting from side by side going to the big banky boy. Now he's got the inside move. I have to be careful because the Spaniard went for a move there as well. We're going to be fighting side by side up the hill through the left-hander and then the right. But I do, thankfully, have the slipstream of the Frenchman in front of me, and that's just going to be enough to get me past her, and the Frenchman behind me as well. Full of French people in this race, actually. Managed to get past, and I get an awesome launch. Now I've got the inside of the next right-hander. Surely this is in the bag, this right-hander here. He's going to hang it around the outside. That's just not enough, and because he tried to fight me around the outside, the other Frenchman got him, and a Spaniard, I believe. So, yeah, he's dropped back a 2 position. Or was it just 1? It might have been 1, actually. But anyway, so, yeah, the Spaniard has actually managed to get past him there. So we're back into P3 now. Missed the apex ever so slightly. You see the Frenchman's just gone off there, just ever so wide. So we've got a gap of 1.5 seconds. Now there's half a second between me and the Spaniard, but as we go forward on the back straight, this is what I'm talking about. Even though I've put personal best in here, the Spaniard is absolutely rapid. So he overtakes me. Now I'm not going to fight this because, like I said earlier, tyre wear is massive. I want to save my tyres for the end of the race, and if me and the Spaniard can work together here, we can catch up with the group. And 4 laps later, that's exactly what we did. We just kept swapping positions on the straight, and we get up to lap 8 now, and he's got a move on the Frenchman. He's looking for it here. See, even with lap 8, even with that tyre wear, we're still putting in personal best. So the Spaniard has just got enough juice around here, I think. Yeah, so he's just got around him there. He's in front of him. Now this is vital to my race here. So if I want to get this podium, if I want to keep with the Spaniard and fight for P2, I have to get past this Frenchman quickly, and I have to get it done before that gap gets too large between the Frenchman and the Spaniard. I drop out the slipstream, and then it's just fight for P3. So let's have a look then, because he's still got the slipstream. Could I potentially move up this inside here? I'm going to try and do this again. I've done this several times in this race. Maybe I should have been a little bit more forceful there. It's not quite enough. He's going to hang it around the outside, and he just beats me to the post, and I just can't do anything about that. So I'll have to sit back, rethink our strategy, and try and go again. Alright, okay, so through this left-hander, much quicker there, I think. We've got a good launch, but the Frenchman does have the slipstream of the Spaniard. Now, I could potentially go for a move on the inside here. Even though with a fight, we only lost 2 attempts, that's good. So I'm going to outbrake him here, but once again, I've got the inside of this corner. Now, I just about make it, but the Frenchman is quite forceful, I'd say, as I went into that. And he just gets the position back. Again, fair play, he had the inside of the next corner. It's just a characteristic of this track. If you get the move done on the inside of that corner, the guy can retaliate so easy on the next one. And it's a lot harder to fight it. You can't really go around the outside. The corner is way too tight. So you can see we're fighting way too much here. and the Spanish drop on the Frenchman. I don't think he's interested in working with me here. I mean, it's up to him, really. He really desperately wants to defend this P3. Doesn't think we can work as a team, I don't think, to get the P2. That's his decision, to be fair. We're just starting to drop off, though. And you can just see it. You can see we're dropping off. And it's a little bit frustrating, because I don't think he understood what I wanted here. I think we were fighting a little bit too much. And if we just worked together as a team, we really could have shot up and stuck with the Spaniard here. But to be fair, he's always just got a little bit wide here. Again, the door's open. It's just not open enough. I just cannot get myself through, and then he closes it off there, and that's just too much. You can see there, that incident there, that's too much. That is way too much. So I think the Spaniard has got more than a second of a gap here, or 3/4 of a second. As we go through this left-hander, yeah, you can see the gap from the Spaniard to the Frenchman, and that is just fighting too much, and that's what it causes, guys. So if you're in one of these races here, you've got to do your best to try and work as a team, even with a roundabout. You can see I just back off here because I've noticed the Spaniard's pulled away, so I've just backed off. I'm going to try and fight another day, so we skip to halfway through lap 10 now. So I'm going to go for the move on the inside here, side by side. Big braking point here. What's going to happen here? So I just outbrake him here. I hit the apex, lovely, nice and smooth, and yeah, it just goes in the back of me a little bit there, but nothing too dramatic. So I get the position, then we go to lap 11, and I make a mistake. I go wide, stupidly, and yeah, the Frenchman then overtakes me. So lap 11, end of lap 11. So what's going to happen here? So we've swapped positions several times already, and then the Frenchman's going to go wide, and then I'm going to overtake him again as we go across the line. So we spent this whole race just trading places, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. It was a very, very good race. Sometimes even if it's costing us, P2 or P1, this race was really, really enjoyable. And we go to lap 14 now, as you can see, right on the back of him. I need to make a move, either this lap or the next lap. And at this point here, it's a game changer. So even though I brake before him, I still end up going to the back of him. I get a 1 second penalty, and my mind just goes boom. Wow, I just saw red. I was like, oh, come on. But it is what it is, I guess. I've got the second penalty, but I wanted to see, regardless, if I could have got this guy. So even though we're on the last lap, I'm going to do an awesome switchback here, get to the right-hand side, which is what I should have been doing this whole race. I'm going to be fighting side by side all the way on this straight, which is absolutely awesome to see. We're very clean, just awesome racing. Even after the race, we spoke in the game chat afterwards and said, how much of a good race it was. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But I'm going to serve my penalty here. Unfortunately, that's a killer. Absolute killer. So as we go through the last corner just one more time then, on lap 15, we're going to cross the line here. Just 9 seconds off the lead, which I don't think is too bad over 15 laps of all the fighting. So we get P4. A little bit unfortunate. Would have loved a podium here, but it doesn't matter too much. P4, still a big amount of points. I think I've got 230. Not quite sure. We'll have to check. We'll have to check at the end of this. But I really enjoyed that race, guys. I hope you did as well. Absolutely cracking. So yeah, 4th position on round 2 of the Nations Cup. How many points we're going to get? 238. Okay, so I was 1 point out. So that's not too shabby. I'll take the 238 points. No one should ever be upset about that amount of points, I guess, unless you're a top split driver. So 238 points in. Let's have a look where that is going to put us in the championship as such. So we're first for Cambridgeshire, which is the area I live in. 14th for the United Kingdom, and 116th for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So pretty good. Not too shabby, eh? Not too shabby for a basic. So I'll leave you there, guys. Really hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you are new around here, and I'll catch you for the next one. Take care. Ta-da.